This clip highlights a key part of a conversation we had during the latest episode of The Work Within.
What makes it hard to be a healthy leader is different for every person. And I think I am a huge fan of the Enneagram because it does not focus on behavior, it focuses on motivation. So let's say you've got two leaders who struggle with people pleasing. They don't stick to their convictions when people get mad. Well, for one person, it might be because they like to just keep the peace. They don't like conflict. Conflict's scary to them. For another person, it might be that their entire sense of self-worth is based on what other people think of them, and that they only think that they're worthwhile if they have any worth, if someone feels like they're like doing the right thing or helping them. Same with perfectionism. You could have two people, but one person, it's because they don't want other people to criticize their work and point out things. For another person, it could be all of inner criticism. Like, I'm going to criticize myself and that makes me feel shame, so I'm going to try to do things perfectly. And so everybody has their own, and it's not that simple. It's so complex. Everybody has their whole own life that they are leading out of all of their experiences, the ways that they're naturally wired, the things that they've been taught, good or bad. And so that's why you have to be self-aware, because I've got to know my own shadow side and the places where I am most likely, the scenarios where I am most likely to, dip into that unhealth in order to stay, feel like I'm safe and worthwhile and not feel ashamed and all that stuff, because it really is different for every person. I think there's some things that are the same for everyone, but I actually think that's really the most important thing for me to understand, has been that motivation is really more than external circumstances and behavior.
Thanks for bringing that nuance, Shannon. I really like that. And especially drawing from the Enneagram and those core motivations and how you use the language of shadow side, right? So all of us have a shadow side or multiple shadow sides, and we have to manage them. But the reality is each of those shadow sides gets triggered or activated or drawn out by different situations and things. And so becoming healthy requires, I guess that's the reality. There's not like a one size fits all to be a healthy leader. There's not just a course you can take and then everyone goes through that and they're a healthy leader, popping out a healthy leader. Like, it takes a lot of work, a lot of nuance and self-understanding. But I guess it does raise the question of like, why don't more people do that? That's an assumption. Why don't more people do that? Or why would people do that? And that goes back to some of the systemic things where I think because results and outcomes and impact are more external, those can be measured, right? And there's that saying, like, what you measure is what you value, right? And so if the system is measuring those external things, then by sheer structure, leaders within those systems are rewarded to focus on the competence pieces, right? They're rewarded by focusing on the external things, not doing that internal work that no one may see, or the results of that may not be immediately apparent until things are too late, right? And so, I think that is a challenge, right? Like, if you're a business leader, and then even with like Brene Brown, and I mean, there's been like a big shifting tide into saying that, hey, empathy, vulnerability, even in those contexts is very important. That those soft skills are very important to bringing the best out of people. And at the same time, they're still like, I'm beholden to my shareholders. I got to hit the bottom line things. And then so it's like, well, what is going to be at the end of the day rewarded? And what is my compensation package going to be based on? Is it going to be on my health as a leader? Or, did I deliver X, Y, and Z results, Thanks for tuning in to The Work Within. We hope this show blessed you in some way. Please subscribe and leave us a review. Your support means a lot to us. Finally, if you're looking for a therapist, we'd love to help. Visit us at www.watershedinitiative.com to get started. For a limited time, new clients can receive 10% off their first 5 sessions of therapy by mentioning The Work Within. Join us again next time.